All right, so I want to point this out. There's no amount of theory that's going to prepare you for the reality of growing your business. I was talking with a lot of people who are trying to do their marketing, right? And I was telling them about the prospecting, putting in an email sequence, a prospecting system sequence. And so I told them what was going to happen in terms of psychologically. I said, here's what's going to happen. Like in the beginning, you're going to feel all excited. You got this new thing and you're going to try to do it, get up and running, right? Eventually, you're going to get so many no's because in sales, I mean, everyone just denies you for everything, right? So you're going to get so many no's, and then you're going to start to feel less motivated, and it's going to keep happening over and over and over again. And eventually you'll get to a point where you'll slow down, and I like describe this whole thing, right? I basically said eventually to get to a point where you could probably quit because it's a lot harder than you think. And the person said, yeah, I get it, I understand, and everything. I said, well, trust me. and so eventually they actually did quit. And the reason is because they understood it, like psychologically. I mean, it's easy to understand, hey, you got to be persistent. But doing it in reality is something completely different. And it's really important to understand that the reality is completely different than the theory. And this comes down to everything. No matter what it is you're doing, the reality is completely different. It's like when people say, don't worry about the haters. Well, that's easy to say, but it might be hard to actually do. I'm gonna put this on real quick. So people might say like, hey, don't worry about the haters. And that's one of the things that's easier said than done. And even things like, I remember when I was trying to spend money, and everyone says like, oh, don't worry about fear, and fear is gonna hold you back and all that. It sounds great, like it really, really sounds great. But doing it in reality is completely different because I understood it psychologically. And then when I wanted to spend ads, I had to spend money on ads, I was still afraid I was gonna lose money. And so I held back. And I didn't spend a lot, and I just didn't spend money at all at first. It took me a while to spend money. And it's because the theory is completely different than the reality. And so you have to get used to the reality as fast as possible. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in theory all day. You're going to be posting quotes and these motivational quotes all day rather than actually making things happen. So understand that the theory is completely different than the reality, and get used to the reality as fast as possible.